Hi, do you ever feel like you don't have enough time? In this video, we'll be talking about all the benefits that come with waking up early and how you can best start doing that. Hi there, Teresa here from LeadYourself. I'm helping you to lead your life towards more freedom and more happiness by providing insights and tips on how to improve your life when it comes to time, energy, and money. If you're new here, you should definitely consider hitting that subscribe button now so you don't miss any of those. And don't forget to hit that little bell too. So about time, why do some people seem to be able to get so much more done than others? Did you ever watch someone wondering how they can fit it all into their lives? I sure have, until I started waking up early and discovered that this simple change actually changed my perception of time. It felt like there was suddenly so much more of it. Of course, in reality, I still only have 24 hours per day, but I use time so much more effectively. Now, I know that there's more to that than just waking up early, but waking up early was definitely the thing that had the greatest impact. Just imagine feeling like you have done all of your important things for the day before noon. Imagine how relaxed the rest of the day would feel and how empowered you would feel. No more stress, just a positive feeling of accomplishment. That's pretty much how it feels when I'm sitting at work, having worked most of my hours for the day by the time my coworkers get started. Or when I have had the time for self-reflection and exercising and all of those positive habits before my kids wake up. If you're a parent, you will know that having your own time is one of the most valuable things you can have. Yet many people try to get their own time in the evening. While that's fine, I often find that I'm too tired to do something meaningful at the end of the day. The evening is more about relaxing and winding down. Now, I want to ask you something else. When you have a list of tasks that need completing at work, do you start with the most important one or with the least important one? Most people would reply that, of course, they start with the most important. Now think of it this way. What are you subconsciously telling yourself when you put off your own time and taking care of yourself to the end of the day? In my world, that means you don't prioritize yourself. Now, there's a difference between prioritizing yourself and being selfish. Imagine that your daily energy is fueled by a battery. This battery needs recharging. If you don't properly recharge, you will be in a constant state of low battery, trying to keep up with your life while feeling totally stressed out. On the other hand, if you're able to recharge those batteries every day by prioritizing yourself before your work or family, you will have so much more to give. This is the key to being a calm and stress-resistant person. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that waking up early is the only way to prioritize yourself, but I did put some serious thought into the connection between prioritization and the order in which we do things, and I do think there's something to it. I certainly started feeling more in control and more balanced once I started waking up early. But waking up early in itself is not that magical. If you wake up early and do what you usually do in the evening, like watch some silly TV program or whatever, you will just have moved your sleeping hours, not much more. But the thing is, if you start waking up early and get used to doing that, you'll find that your motivation to do something meaningful is going to be at its peak in the morning. So most likely you will not be wasting your time. So how do you actually go about waking up early? If you're a typical evening person, you probably find the thought of going up at 5 or 6 a.m. or even earlier quite repulsive. But remember that it is a choice you are able to make. And since you're watching this video, you're probably already open to it and just need to learn how. I do understand that sometimes it isn't really by choice that we have to wake up early. For instance, if we have a baby waking us up or a job that requires an early schedule. But the baby will eventually stop controlling your life, and the job can actually be a blessing already, since it's probably a job where you come home quite early in the afternoon and have the rest of the day left. In any case, we can make the choice to view it as something positive, even if it's not fully in our control. Now, waking up early is just like building any habit. It basically requires you to create a trigger that will cause a desire to act, which will cause you to act, which will result in a reward. This is called the habit loop, and I have an entire series about building habits that I recommend you watch after this video. So first, let us think about the trigger. Usually this is your alarm clock that's telling you it's time to wake up. But if you're a snoozer, it might currently be very inefficient in doing that. More often than not, snoozing is the result of one out of three things. Either you didn't have enough sleep, or you don't feel like you want to go up, or you have simply formed a snoozing habit where the alarm actually triggers the behavior of you pushing the snooze button instead of getting out of bed. Let me know in the comments if any of these apply to you so that I can better understand how I can help you in the future. Now, we'll talk about the need for enough sleep in a bit, but if you have trouble with motivation, I do hope I have given you enough inspiration to actually consider it to be a positive thing to wake up early. Just think about how good it will feel when you're able to accomplish so much more and be so much more energized throughout your day. But most snoozes actually fall in the third category of just having built the habit to snooze. That's easily solved by making the snoozing harder or introducing real consequences. To make it harder to snooze, there are apps that require you to solve a problem to turn off the alarm. And to introduce consequences, you could try something like scheduling an embarrassing social media post to go live every day at the time you want to be awake and that you need to cancel manually. Just brainstorm a bit what could work for you. Actually, there's another form of trigger that works much better than an alarm for me. I found that having a large glass of water before going to sleep causes my bladder to act as an effective trigger. So if you don't think alarms work, maybe you can try the natural way. Or even try one of those wake-up lights. I got one as a gift and it wakes me up real nice. I'll put a few links in the description for you to go check out. Now let's talk a little bit about having a good night's sleep and how that's sort of a prerequisite of being able to pull this off in the long run. Now, I did find that being able to recharge my batteries every morning causes me to need less sleep, as the quality of my sleep has vastly improved since I'm not that stressed anymore. But I would never go under 6 hours per night on average, preferably more. This does of course mean that you won't be able to consistently go to bed at midnight or later like you might have used to do. And if you think that's too much of a sacrifice, even considering the benefits of waking up early, then maybe you have already made your choice, and that's totally fine. But if you're fine with sacrificing part of your evening time for some morning time, I suggest you keep watching. The second part of the habit loop is the desire to take action. Usually this has an immediate connection to the reward that the action brings you, and in the beginning you just have to imagine that reward. The more you get into it and actually receive that reward, the stronger the desire will become. When I first started waking up early, I got the recommendation to try and do something really easy that I really like doing, like watching a favorite TV show first thing in the morning, just to motivate myself. While that's something that you could try if you want, I found it to actually slow down the progress towards the actual reward, which for me is the feeling of true accomplishment. So give that some thought. The third part of the habit loop, taking action, in this case getting yourself out of bed, isn't really that complicated. Usually I recommend trying to make the habit routine itself as easy as possible to do, but I'm not sure how you can make getting out of bed so much easier than it already is. So I would just leave it at that, except for maybe trying to make it harder to not get out of bed using the tricks of beating snoozing that we talked about. And last but not least, the reward. The thing that's pulling everything together and will reinforce your wake-up habit. For me, like I said, it's the feeling of accomplishment, but also the time I get for myself, which as a mother of 3 kids is a true gem. For you, it may end up being something else, but I'm sure that you will be rewarded. Finally, one last trick is to do the change slowly. Wake up 5 minutes earlier every day and do your best to use that extra time as best as you possibly can. 5 minutes shouldn't be that hard, right? Well, that's the trick. You'll be tricking your mind here with tiny steps, and before you know it, you're an early riser. Your perception of time will probably be completely changed, as you will realize that making good use of time means prioritizing activities that give you energy and bring you closer towards your goals. You'll essentially be investing a couple of hours at the start of the day and feel like you get so much more out of that than ever before. Now, I wish you good luck and all the best on your journey towards that perfect morning. Let me know in the comments how it goes and if you have any tricks to share that ended up helping you to wake up early. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe and hit the bell for more videos like this. And like I said before, I recommend watching my Building Habits That Last series if you haven't done so already. But that's it for today. I'll see you next week. Bye!